Good afternoon. Hello, can everyone hear me? I am thrilled to welcome you and to our very first virtual coffee chat. My name is Anna Marie Tejas, and I serve as the Director for Parent and Family Programs for the University of Arizona. So what I'd like to share is that historically our coffee chats would take place in your local communities. And these are events that were hosted by parents and family members, allowing all of you the opportunity to meet your Wildcat family in your local area and have the opportunity to hear firsthand experiences from the parents and family members of our students. So we appreciate your patience and flexibility as we migrate to this virtual format. So before we get started, I wanted to run through a quick just set of house rules to share with you how this coffee chat is going to function today. Each of you have been muted and all of our video and functionality is turned off. So if you hover your mouse towards the bottom of your screen, a toolbar should pop up and you'll have the opportunity to ask questions if you click on that Q&A button. So when you click on that button, a question box will pop up. You can type in any of your questions. I have several colleagues working behind the scenes that are going to respond to these questions virtually. What I'd like to encourage is that you read through the questions. Sometimes you'll be able to have questions answered that you didn't even realize you had. I have also an incredible parent volunteer that I'm going to introduce to you in just a second, and he's going to be covering some great topics, including the Honors Village dorm, the meal plans, how both his student and his family decided upon the University of Arizona, how his daughter stayed involved at the U of A, and some of their experiences this last month in terms of COVID-19, the pandemic, and the communication that we shared with the family members. Towards the end of our virtual coffee chat, we're gonna also roll out some poll questions just to have some individual feedback from our guests. Before I do that, I'm gonna announce the poll questions before I hit that send button to share with you all of the results. So one last reminder, we're going to continue to host these virtual coffee chats over the next 5 weeks, and the topics are going to vary. So I invite you to continue to join us, read through the topics. You will have to re-register. You'll have to click on that link, re-register yourself, and join us every Thursday at 3 p.m. I know a lot of you just noticed I received a few emails. I know we do not observe daylight savings time, so just a reminder to check your internet on what that time is here. So without taking up any more time, I want to thank my hosts that are joining me today and do some quick introductions. So first of all, I'd like to introduce Karen Feltz, who is my colleague, and she serves as the Associate Director for Undergraduate Recruitment for Admissions and New Student Enrollment. And Karen will be sharing admissions and recruitment information and everything related to that admission process. So if you have those questions, Karen's going to be a great resource for you. Roger Arevalo lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, and serves as a board member for the Arizona Parents and Family Association. His daughter, Sabrina, just moved home a few weeks ago, where she's wrapping up her first semester at the University of Arizona. She was living, like I said, in the Honors dorm, the Honors Village dorm, and can answer some of those questions for you. So Roger, I'd love to invite you and Karen to join us, and thank you both for being here today. And Roger, I'm going to kick things off to you and ask you if you wouldn't mind sharing with us your family's experiences, why you chose the University of Arizona after touring other campuses.
Thank you, Anna Marie, and thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to talk to potential future University of Arizona Wildcat parents. My experience with the University of Arizona has been incredible. To put it succinctly, my wife says that once we visited all the colleges that we visited, and we visited mostly private colleges, that would be the University of San Diego, TCU, Baylor, and Gonzaga, no one could even reach the bar that the University of Arizona set within all our visits and touch points that we've had with them. We visited all those schools that I just mentioned because we want to make sure that we picked the right school. And obviously, as you know, as parents, we're very involved in that selection process these days. And ultimately, it had to be my daughter's decision. And coincidentally enough, the University of Arizona was the first school that we visited. And it wasn't by any sort of means of saying that's where we wanted to go first. And it ended up being the one that she ended up choosing on her own, because basically it gave her all the things that she needed academically. She's a medical pre-med student. It gave her all the resources and then some that we saw at all the private schools. And it also has an esprit de corps that's really hard to kind of communicate over, this process, but you have to experience it. There is a sense of community and esprit de corps at the University of Arizona that I don't think existed at any of those other schools that we visited, and some of them have very storied, historical community sort of things, like Chip and I forget the name of the gal from the TV show that are very associated with Baylor. At the end of the day, like I said, between what the school had to offer in terms of resources, education, and the honors dorm village, which is basically one of the most plushest dorms that I've ever seen in my entire life. How could you say yes to the University of Arizona? We did end up choosing, she ended up choosing the 1-bedroom shared bathroom dorm facility at the University of Arizona's village. And she was able to choose that because obviously having gotten a very nice scholarship, and the fact that we were forthright in getting a 529C established with her, we were able to allow her to pick whatever room she wanted. But we do and have friends that are in the just normal rooms at the Honors Village. And I got to tell you, if I could do it all over again, I would do it all over again at the Honors Village at the University of Arizona, because the facility itself, the gym that's across the way there, the classrooms that are there, the cafeteria that's there, the laundry facilities that are there, the meeting rooms that are there are all incredibly wonderful, well thought out, and the facility itself is first class. One of the things that Anna Marie wanted me to share with you is the move-in experience. Move-in day is obviously a very exciting day in the lives of all of us when our kids go off to college. We were a little trepidatious as we got a notification from the school that we were going to have a set time where we had to pull up, and we had 20 minutes to move in. So we were a little concerned, but we thought, hey, we're just going to go with it because everything that the university had done up to that point has been incredible. We got down to Tucson in time. We were able to find where we were supposed to be. People reassured us that we were in the right place. We waited in line until we were told to go. We pulled up to the back of the Honors Village, and within pulling up, it was like being at a first-class hotel. All our doors were opened by people that were there from the university. They said, please exit the car. We will remove everything for you. At that point, we sent our daughter over to check in so she could get a room key. After our car was completely, all the stuff was taken out, which took about maybe 5 to 6 minutes, incredibly. We went to go park our car, and we were pretty close, so we had a 10-minute walk back to the dorm. By the time that I met my daughter in the lobby and we walked up to her room, which is probably maybe 20, 25 minutes, all of her stuff was in the room. So we were impressed right from the get-go there with the way that was handled. The move-in experience was really, really super quick. In fact, we kind of had to pinch ourselves and had to look to see that everything was there because we couldn't believe that it could have been done so quickly. But I got to tell you, they had an army of volunteers there that helped us with that process. Anna Marie also wanted me to talk about the meal plan. Being in the Honors Village, we had one choice. It was called the Acutillo plan, I believe it's called. Don't quote me on that. I believe it was a use or lose 15 swipes per week. I can tell you that my daughter came back healthier and with a better palate than she's ever had before when she did come back during this whole during the break and this whole COVID thing. She never had a week where she didn't use all her swipes. I was concerned that there would be weeks that she would have swipes that she would have lost, but the kids get really smart about how they use their swipes and where they can use them. And then there's also some cash that's attached to that, which is kind of like an ATM card for the university. That is also, I believe, accepted at like the CVS that's close by and some outlying other food vendors that are close to the campus. So she was really happy with that, and that worked out really, really well. how my daughter got involved on the campus, which I think is really super important. A lot of my wife follows an Arizona Moms, University of Arizona Moms blog that she follows on Facebook and whatnot. And there are a lot of things that people that say there, how can my kid get involved? They just have to find something. My daughter was part of the Blue Chip Leadership Program that the university has. She also joined Zona Zoo, which I highly recommend, so that they can get into the spirit of the school and enjoy the collegiate sports process that they have there. She also volunteered for the athletic training volunteer program, where she got to work with trainers that work with the athletes. And she just currently was involved with the Physiology Honors Academy, where it's kind of a leadership program where honor students mentor and bring in speakers to some of their fellow classes so that people can learn about what's going on in the medical field. So she's pretty involved. And the other thing that she did too that I thought was really wise, she has at least visited all the resources that are available to her on campus. Think Tank, the health center, obviously the counseling center have been so wonderful. But anything that was available to her as a resource, she visited. And there's a little app, I think it's an app, correct me if I'm wrong here, Anne-Marie, later, but called SOS that helps you through finding your way around campus or when the CAT trans is coming by my facility, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of resources that this school offers to you that I was just overwhelmed with, after visiting all the schools that I did. And then basically, in terms of what's going on now, that's why we're here in this virtual chat. I have to say that, and I told Anne-Marie and everybody there at the University of Arizona that I was impressed with the welcoming nature of the school at all the touch points that we've had so far with the university. I don't think that that's been the case at any of the other universities that we visited. And I just thought of this today. At all the universities that I visited, I never once saw a parent organization table at any of the visits that we had. And we had multiple visits to some of these universities. And then another thing that's occurred to me is how many people come back and work at the university that are graduates. So if it's so good while you're there and you want to come back and work there, there really is something special going on in this campus. But finally, in terms of what has happened now, I was very impressed on how quickly the school got on whatever mechanism they could to communicate to us during the pandemic. I don't think we were ever left in the gray in terms of what was happening next. There was a lot of Facebook chats that went on. There was a lot of communication vis-a-vis email to us and to my daughter, telling us exactly what was going to happen. I think we were one of the first schools that offered some sort of refund to students based on what they had paid for either dorm or food. And we were given options as to what and how we wanted to take that refund, which I think really speaks to how the school tries to accommodate our students and our families. So, and then basically they just took whatever opportunity they could vis-a-vis this virtual chat or Facebook or whatever they could to communicate with us. I was also impressed because I have, and I know other people that have their kids at other schools that were kind of like, what? They already talked to you about this? What? They're doing that? Just the speed by which they just jumped on whatever they could to communicate to us, again, gave us that community and welcoming feeling that we've experienced at the University of Arizona. And I think at this point I might have talked too much as I'm clocking myself here. So I think I will turn it over to Karen or whoever else is next on the agenda. Thank you so much. I hope to see you all at the University of Arizona. Bear down, go Wildcats.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Roger. Really appreciate your insights, especially as a current parent of a Wildcat. I think that's invaluable to this group. My name is Karen Feltz. I serve as the Associate Director of Undergraduate Recruitment. I'm actually based in our Phoenix area, so if I have any folks in the Phoenix realm, that's me. So please feel free. My contact information is up on the slides right now. Please feel free to send any questions my way. So I just wanted to take a moment and really talk about some admissions updates. So there are, as Roger mentioned, there's lots of information going out. We want to continue to be very communicative, open as much as we possibly can. And so one of the biggest questions, and I believe it's already come up in the chat, or excuse me, the question and answer section, is will we be open in the fall? And we are trying our very best, of course, to be back on campus. And right now we are moving forward with that expectation. The decision will come down as we get a little bit closer and have a better sense of where we are. But know that we are looking very carefully at all factors that are a part of this decision. So that's definitely something I wanted to share with you all. Next, I want to share an enrollment fee update. So we are accepting enrollment fees until June 1st. June 1st is also the enrollment fee refund deadline. So if your student is trying to decide on a couple of universities, then the time would really be to let us know by June 1st in order to get that refund back. Your student can secure their spot on our campus by paying that enrollment fee, but still receive the refund by June 1st. The enrollment fee is $425. That is available within the Next Steps Center. And so hopefully the Next Steps Center sounds familiar to you all as parents, or hopefully your student has been working diligently on those items. But really the Next Steps Center is a website that is an amazing to-do list for students to use and make sure they are on track to join us in the fall. So included would be, like I said, the enrollment fee, orientation dates, information about financial aid and scholarships, information about confirming residency, immunization records, as well as some great campus resources like Roger shared, learning more about SOS, think tank tutoring services, career services, and many more. So it's the hub for students to feel prepared to be a part of the University of Arizona come fall. So that's a really important update to share as well. One of the things I see most with students is not being able to see the enrollment fee or the orientation section. It's really important that students answer all of the items in that getting started section. That will allow the enrollment fee to pop up, the orientation sessions to be available after paying the enrollment fee. So it's really important to make sure that they've completed all the sections or all of the items within that getting started module. It will ask about residency, so that will help determine what sort of orientation session we're offering, as well as just confirming tuition for the student as well. Next, in terms of orientation updates, all of our orientations in May and June are going to be virtual and online. So our wonderful orientation and new student services team are working diligently to make it an incredible experience for our students, and working, of course, with our college partners to make that happen as well. We are excited about the new opportunities that opens up, and making sure that our students feel connected with each other, as well as their college, their academic college, and their major, as well as if your student is a part of the Honors College, feeling connected to the Honors College as well. So we are happy to share more updates as we have them, but that is a great update to share, that those will all be virtual options for May and June orientation sessions. My next deadline update would be for housing. So Roger shared some incredible information about the Honors Village dorm, but I do want to share, if your student is planning to live on campus or is interested in living on campus, the housing application fee, which is $150, that is due May 1st. So if a student pays that housing application fee by May 1st, they are able to pick their dorm, which is something our students really like to have control over, of looking at the great options, all 23 different options, and be able to pick for themselves. If a student submits the housing application fee after May 1st, as long as they are still able to submit that application, we will have a spot for them on campus. But instead of being able to pick themselves, they will provide preferences to our Housing and Residential Life office, and they will assign as they have space available. So if your student wants to be able to pick, and this is pretty high-tech stuff because they're not only picking their dorm, they are picking the room within that dorm, the floor they're on. They can scope out the different floor plans and get the best room that makes sense for them. If they want to be close to the bathroom because that's important to them, great. If they want to be on the highest floor because that's important to them, great. The student gets all the choice in the matter as long as we have that application fee by May 1st. After, and the housing application, I should mention, is also available within the Next Steps Center. After submitting the non-refundable housing application fee, the students will be able to sign a license agreement as well as rent confirmation payment, which is a deposit towards the overall cost of housing. And that will be available to students now and is also due on May 1st. So those are just some quick housing updates for you. And then my last update, I want to make sure I'm mindful of time here, is that while we are not able to host visitors on campus, we do have lots of great virtual offerings. So we have our virtual tour that is available on our website. We also have information sessions from our different college partners. So if your student is a honors college bound student and want to hear from our honors college, there are information sessions available, or from our College of Science, or some of those other programs that your student may be interested in. So I really recommend checking out our virtual visit page. If you go to the arizona.edu homepage, up at the top it says visit virtually, and you can learn more about those offerings that are available all online from the comfort of your home, couch, desk, wherever you may be. So those are just a couple updates from me, and so I will turn it back over to Anna Marie.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Roger. I think that was great information that both of you shared. What I'd like to share is I'm going to follow up with an email after this coffee or virtual coffee chat ends, and I'll share all of the links that Karen just mentioned, the updates, the dates, so that you have it in writing and it's something that you can reference. What I'd also like to share is I saw some questions popping up on how families can get connected. The UA Family website is also a wonderful resource for the parents and family members. Roger's pointing to his name badge right now, so I'll share that link as well. I believe it was in the email invite you received, but uafamily.arizona.edu. I'll send that link out to you, and it's a great way to sign up for the free membership. And then we have social media links on the bottom of the website, so you can click on those and get connected. I have some incredible undergrad students that work for our office, and they're posting on a regular basis, trying to keep you all updated and informed regularly. So I'm gonna roll out some of these polls. We just asked some fun questions, and I'm gonna go ahead and send them out right now. Hopefully I can do this correctly. And looks like, so the question is, where will your student live during the academic year? And right now, everyone's sort of thinking a good percentage. Looks like they're going to be living in the dorms. Right now, 97% of you are identifying living in the dorms. 1% off-campus housing, and a little over 1% at home. Okay, that is great to know. I think I'm going to follow up with some of the things that Karen mentioned. We have some incredible links online. Housing and Residential Life just emailed us a link to a virtual tour of the dorms, where you can actually go in and look at the dorms and really experience that. So we'll make sure in our follow-up messaging that you see that link. Otherwise, it can be found at housing.arizona.edu. Everything is a pretty theme themed there in our websites. But if you have any questions, feel free. Don't hesitate to reach out. There were a few things that I wanted to also share. Follow-ups to comments that Roger had mentioned. He and Karen both gave a shout out to our SOS portal. And when you're on, so for example, when you're on our website and many of the other websites for the University of Arizona, it'll pop up on the bottom and it's called SOS. And it's really there to support our students, our staff members, and the parents and family members of our students. And so I know a lot of our families utilize this link. You can text message them, you can email them, you can call them. Our students can do so, and they receive numerous messages throughout the year. Something so simple as the students will text message, I don't know how to do laundry, can you help me? And they'll walk the students through that, to something like high level, and they'll be able to get our family members and students connected to the resources that are necessary. So I know that was mentioned. I wanted to share that. And then we will also share some links to the dining hall, not only at the Honors Village, but we have other eating facilities located throughout campus. And there's a lot of varieties and options that are available. It's not just that Honors Village. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll out our second poll. So find that. And this is communications. I'm going to go ahead and send this out to you. And the question is, how often should my student be communicating with me? So who? You just plan on seeing them at the end of the semester. You expect them to respond to every single text and call throughout the academic year. You're just going to kind of wait it out and navigate it as the semester rolls out. And then the call or text once a week will do. The reason that I asked this is I thought it was a fun question, but I think it's really important between now and the fall to start having these conversations on what your expectations are. And some of them are simply with communication. Your students are navigating a new journey, a new vision, and really it's their opportunity to become an independent young adults and find their voice and be able to navigate some of those situations. So we can all take a deep breath and know that they're doing well, and maybe have that communication on how often you feel that you all should be communicating with one another. Karen and Roger, I'm going to invite you back in. I know you're on mute. Are there any final things that you'd like to share that you thought of while I was chatting?
Karen?
Nothing. Oops, sorry. Knew that would happen. Nothing on my end, but truly, I just want to reiterate that we are here for you all, for your student, for you. I always love working with parent and family programs because of the great support that they offer our Wildcat families. And so please don't hesitate to reach out if there are any questions you still have lingering. We're here to support.
And all I can say is if you want your child to go to a university that has a great sense of community, all the resources and support they could ever want, a tremendous campus, food that's so incredible that my daughter's having me replicate some of the recipes here at home now that she ate on campus that she doesn't have access to now. This is a great school. I can't, there's not enough time for me to tell you how much I appreciate this school and everything they are to our family now. And because we feel we're a part of this Wildcat family, which is not the sense that I got at any of the other universities that we could have gone to. I always say this is the best public-private university you could ever want to go to.
Roger, I think you wrapped it up beautifully. What I always like to do is welcome everyone to the Wildcat family. And you all are members of the Wildcat family. We're excited to welcome you. I know there's a little bit of uncertainty moving forward, but regardless of what that is, we do hope to see your students as Wildcats. I moved our slide over to share with you some upcoming events that are great resources for our students. Our admissions department is hosting every Friday an event called Ask a Wildcat, and those are at 3 o'clock. So again, just search the times here in Arizona because we're not observing our daylight saving time, and really those are the opportunity for your students to ask current students who work in that department any question that they may have, regardless of what it is. And so those are Fridays at 3 o'clock. We are also hosting virtual info sessions And I'll be sharing that link in my follow-up email. And then something that I just found out yesterday is that Housing and Residential Life will be hosting next week, April 27th at 5 o'clock, Facebook Live event. And so I have actually watched a few of those. I think they are very resourceful, filled with lots of information. Our colleague Dana will be hosting that, and she does an awesome job at describing everything from the move-in process, storms to choose, dates, deadlines, and any questions that you may have as well. I would also like to thank Roger, Karen, and our colleagues behind the scenes that have been answering your questions. We've recorded today's session. We'll review all the questions and email you individually if you need some individual follow-up. You have my email on the invitation, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon and hopefully next week for our next coffee chat. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Karen.